Number one, what were you doing before the band? Well, I was doing a lot of things actually, and a lot of things and absolutely nothing, I guess. Music teacher for a year. I was in, it was called university, but it wasn't really. Studying everything from music production, radio, broadcasting, and a little bit of everything actually.
Before heavy metal get into my life and I become a proper metalhead, I was totally into computers and computer games. They were still quite young at this time. There was a lot of excitement happening there. I think I had a good feeling about computers. They were kind of speaking to me in a language that I could understand. And I really enjoyed when there all were problems involved into them and there was problem solving.
So before the band, I was playing in a few other bands, nothing big, and then the biggest band I played in before Sabaton was actually Nocturnal Rites. And after I played with them for a few years, and then after that I joined Sabaton.
Before I joined Sabaton, I was playing in a band called Evergrey, and we were touring the world actually a lot. So I started drum taking when I was 16, and then I started touring with a few bands here and there, and then I joined Evergrey. We had Sabaton as support in the US. I became good friends with the Sabaton guys, and here I am, 7 years later in Sabaton.
I got into Sabaton when I was 18, so I didn't have that much time to do that much before I actually got into it. And then, obviously, over time, even as I was in Sabaton, I was doing some extra jobs on the side to get some, to be able to pay the bills, basically.
Before I joined Sabaton, I was working in a recording studio in my hometown in the north of Sweden, the town called Boden. I was also playing a lot with other bands, a little bit of touring with other bands, like my other band Rainseed, this thing called Swedish Hits Goes Metal. I did a lot of covers, some concerts on my own with other bands. So I was pretty busy and pretty active as a musician even before I joined Sabaton.
Opening is IKEA stuff. We have the first show here in Zurich, in Switzerland, and I think it's gonna be a lot of people coming tonight.
Hello everyone, we are here in Zurich, Switzerland. Take a look at this. And that's my drums.
So first time I actually knew that I wanted to be an artist or a guitar player, I was about 7 years old. I got my first guitar and I heard Iron Maiden for the first time, and there was no turning back from there.
Well, I wanted to become a drummer when I heard Metallica's album Ride the Lightning, because we were listening in a tent in my cousin's backyard, and it was thunderstorm outside and it was raining a lot. And my older cousin came out and he gave us a moo box and he said, "This is what you should listen to." And I think the first song was For Whom the Bells Tolls, and that really struck me. I couldn't believe it. It was the heaviest shit I've ever heard. So I was very intrigued by it, and it was very exciting. So I need to get to the bottom of what makes all that noise, and it turns out it's the drums. So therefore I had to start playing the drums.
At some point, heavy metal was simply too exciting, and I guess I discovered also what meant to be going to a party, to headbang, to enjoy shows and to drink beers and stuff, and then a lot changes quite quickly. And watching some of the rock and roll documentaries, and I get excited and I felt this is the life I want to do. I want to go on tour. I want to be traveling, I want to be in a metal band, I want the energy, I want to feel the crowd every night. This is the things that made me excited, and here I am today, and down the road.
When I was 9 and my dad showed me the video of Out in the Fields with Gary Moore, and it was at that point I realized at that age that this is what I'm gonna do for the rest of my life. I'm gonna become a musician. I'm gonna play guitar, and it's all I'm gonna do. So I decided very early that I'm gonna be a musician. And then at the age of 15, I started to sing, play piano, drums and bass, and started to write some music. At that point, I really realized that this is all I can do.
Well, I never knew actually, and it just hit me. I guess I became a professional musician before I even really wanted it or knew about it. Weird thing, really. It's. I mean, I always enjoyed playing music. I always loved both writing and performing, but having that as my main income seemed so far away and almost impossible in a way. Of course, it was a dream somehow, but I didn't really think of it like that. I always thought I'd have another job on the side just to be able to support the music. But I think this is in 2008 or 9. We're playing a show in Athens. It was a crazy show because even though, well, the Greek people are crazy. They don't need to be that many to be very loud. But I still remember to this day that in the middle of Ghost Division, I think it was, everything went sort of into slow motion. And while singing, I still kind of, my mind starts wandering and I get this feeling and like, hey, I'm in Greece now, having a great time, doing a good show. And I haven't done anything else for the last year or two than playing music. I guess I'm a musician,
From the mist, a shape is taking form, and the silence of the seas are bound to drift into a storm.
Well, in the beginning, even before we were Sabaton, when I met Per and the boys who was in the band at that time, I don't think there was much of an idea. We were mostly drinking beer and playing whatever kind of music we wanted. We had a lot of fun for sure, but in the beginning there wasn't, any big master plan of or even thoughts about military history or camo pants or whatever it was,
From the beginning of Sabaton, we were called actually Ion, but the first music that we were performing was some kind of cover songs, and the idea to play a little bit of a darker, maybe black metal or something, because at this time power metal or true metal, melodic heavy metal had nothing to do. In Sweden, it was all about black metal. If you wanted to play in a band, you played black metal. And that's what we needed to start rehearsal. And I guess one of the main influences at this time for us would have been Dimmu Borgir, and we wanted a keyboard player into the band. He came in, it was Joachim. He came with the idea about making the band more melodical.
Over the years, of course, as we kept playing, these things were added. I mean, it looks like, we had our shit together if you look at Sabaton today. But what people seem to forget sometimes is that this was an evolutionary process. I mean, it took us 20 years or a little bit more actually to get to where we are today.
Turmoil at the front, Wilhelm's forces on the hunt. There is a thunder in the east, it's an attack of the disease. They've been placing poison gas, 7,000 charge en masse. Turn the tide of the attack and force the enemy to turn back. And that's when the dead men are marching again. Soviets then and again, attack of the dead. 100 men facing the red once again. 100 men charge again, die again. Soviets then and again, attack of the dead. 100 men facing the red once again. 100 men charge again, die again.
I was introduced to Joachim by a common friend and the current drummer, a guy called Rickard, who was the drummer of Sabaton at this time. He was a school friend with Joachim, so he introduced him as a guy who can play keyboards, and also had an interest. We connected very quickly. We also had the same ideas about which bands we liked and stuff. Then along came bands like Hammerfall, Rhapsody, and we suddenly felt that there was a possibility to play melodic heavy metal again with very symphonic. We liked those kind of influences, and then we felt comfortable that we could start working with Sabaton in the way, or develop the sound that is today's Sabaton.
I remember this must have been, about 21 years now, maybe March 1999, I went to a party close to where Richard, the guy who was playing drums at the time, where he grew up in Betty's Gordon outside Falun. And I remember meeting Richard, the old guitar player, and Per there on just a party. And it turned out they were looking for a keyboard player for their band, and we liked the same kind of music. They were nice people, so I started coming to the rehearsals. We drank beer and listened to Judas Priest and Halloween. And then all of a sudden they asked me if I wrote any songs, and I showed them a few, and then they asked me if I could sing until, just so they knew the melody I had intended for the song. And slowly but surely I thought, you sing until we find a singer. And lazy bastards.
All right.
I'm gonna lose anyway. Tommy's played this way, way, way too much.
I haven't played this in a very long time. It's been like 2 weeks.
Okay.
This is fun. I like this. You and me hanging out, bonding, becoming good friends.
I thought we were friends already.
Becoming better friends. No friendship is stronger between two men that plays a video game together. Here you go, Joachim.
2!
That one was me actually.
I got 2 in a row, red fucking...
Yes. Ah, fuck.
Taste of my medicine. Oh, no, not now, not now! Not on the fucking final stretch! Oh, you little piece of... Bye-bye.
We were originally called Ion, but we, coming across internet and some of these band databases that were very early, we found that there was a band called Ion. Today I guess we would have realized that the band was very small, but we actually found that there was one band called it, and we decided we cannot be called the same as somebody else is called. So
we all basically agreed that, okay, let's think about some of that stuff, and in 1 week on the next rehearsal, we rehearsed like 2 times a week back then. So we said, everybody has at least 1 or 2 suggestions for a band name. And I looked through my books at home because I couldn't think of anything from the top of my head. But then I came across, I had this book about, ancient military armor, military weapons from the medieval ages. And I saw that piece of armor, the scale armor that protects a knight's foot. And that was called a Sabaton. And I thought, I'll bring that as a suggestion. And I can't remember if I brought the book to the next rehearsal or the meeting though, but coming there, I was the only one who had something. So I showed, okay guys, and I showed them, okay, that's the name, my idea I have. I thought it was cool because, I like military history. Anyway, it turns out nobody else had any idea.
we had a brainstorming, we came up with a couple of ideas, a friend of us drew some logotypes examples, and Sabaton looked good and sounded good and it felt good, and the whole idea about Sabaton being a part of a medieval heavy metal shoe felt also quite comfortable thought, like okay, we play heavy metal, it's called Sabaton, what is Sabaton? Well, it's a heavy metal thing that you can kick people with. So we felt that it was a natural way of choosing the name this way, and the logotype looked good.
Hello everybody and welcome to the Sabaton cooking challenge. We're gonna make a toast today. We have some Koch hinter Schinken, and then we have Original Irisher cheddar roast. We have other cheese. You know what? That's good enough. Then we find some bread. Have you seen the bread? All right. Come on, there we go. So we take just a little bit of butter. So that's good enough. Then we take some of this cheese. Then we take some piece of Kochhinterschinken, like so. Magic will happen. And now we wait.
This is the calorie machine of death. You stay upstairs, you say, no, I'm not gonna have a toast. Then you start to smell that shit, and then you cannot say no. We need to have a discussion about this. We need a schedule for the toast machine. No toast machine after midnight.
Sorry, my bad.
Yeah, brown bread is better than white bread.
Yeah. Toast it.
Yeah, then you That's a pro tip from touring musicians. Your musicians tells you to eat dark bread. Yeah, so toast it, it'll be brown, motherfucker.
That's actually quite good. Now he got it.
Your musicians tells you to eat dark bread. Yeah, so toast it, it'll be brown, motherfucker.
That's actually quite good. Now he got it.
First time I heard about Sabaton was in military service back in 05, 06, 05, I think. I was driving a truck, and my co-pilot, had this CD with a new band, and it was Sabaton, and I think it was Panzer Battalion and the Primo Victoria that was playing on the stereo for the first time, and I was like, oh cool, what is this? So that was the first time I heard Sabaton.
Well, since I'm Swedish and they are Swedish too, you kind of hear about it when you do festivals all around the place. So I heard about them quite early, but no, actually we did a show together in Turkey in 2010 in Istanbul. That's where I saw them the first time. So 2010.
I heard about Sabaton in this magazine called Sweden Rock Magazine. They had this CD once a month where you could listen to a couple of songs from new releases and so on. And one of those songs was Prima Victoria with Sabaton. And I was working out in the woods at that point. I was 17 years old, I think. I was listening to Sabaton. I thought, shit, this is good. So I bought their album, listened to it, and I thought it was very, very good. And then in 2005, I saw them at Sweden Rock Festival. Yeah, the same year. I saw them at Sweden Rock Festival, and I thought they were very, very good. So I started to listen to the band. I actually started to follow them and see them on, every now and then when they were playing close to my town, or sometimes I even went to the festival in Falun to see them. And then at one point I got to know each other. I got to know the band, and they got to know me. And now I'm here. I met Per at a party up in Umeå, where I used to live, when I played with Nocturnal Rites. We met at a party, and we were talking for hours, just gibberish stuff. And then the next day he called me up and told me what happened with the whole lineup, and he asked me if I could think about joining the band. And he said, like, can you meet me and Joachim in Stockholm airport tomorrow? I was like, yeah, sure, why not? So I called in sick for my work, and I flew to Stockholm. I met them, had a dinner, had 2 beers, and then after that they said, well, if you want to be in the band, you're in the band.
So I knew the guys from a previous tour, and they needed a drummer because the previous ones, they left. So we kept in contact throughout the years, and then Per sent me an email, asked if I was interested. And yeah, I had such a good time, and I still am, so there we go.
Well, as I said earlier, I got to know the band, and so me and Joachim, we had a little bit of a contact. And then in 2012, they called me and asked if I wanted to be their new member, because the previous members, they were gonna leave the band, so they were standing there, Joachim and Per, no guitarist. But at that point, I was, getting my own career with my own bands was starting to get pretty good. So I wanted to put time and effort into doing that as much as I could. Even if it would fail, I still wanted to do that when I had the chance. So I said no to Sabaton. But then in 2016, Per called me back and said, "Hey man, what's up? Tobi's leaving the band, and kind of have you in mind still. So what do you say, boy? You're in this time?" And at that point, yeah, I was in. And once again, here I am.
And so died the guitarist of Sabaton. How, they ask? He just disappeared in a green flash of light. He was gone because he didn't know where the Bada Big Boom was and when it was. Where and when is the most important things to know when it comes to Bada Big Booms on stage. Where and when. Why? Of course we know why. Because it's cool.
Soundcheck. It's great.
It's a great sound check.
This is a great soundcheck. This is my favorite soundcheck.
I love this shit. Fucking awesome. Let's do this. Hey, thanks to you.
That was fun.
You're really great. Yeah.
Great. Great.
Oh shit. Eddie! Hide me! You answer my question now!
The idea behind the band in the beginning was very simple. Just a couple of guys, have fun, drink some beer, play some metal together. Maybe one day we can have a few local shows, play at the small little there's a few bars or whatever that we could play in our hometown Falun. That was the start, the main idea from the beginning. Nothing more, nothing ambitious. But quickly we start to become ambitious. I was always very ambitious in everything I ever tried to do. I wanted to do it bigger and more than other people. And we were a couple of people who had this driving force in the beginning, and together we had higher ambitions, higher visions quickly than just playing here and there. And having a few small victories, like we won a couple of local music competitions, which fueled us. There was also people starting to come to our shows like we were a proper band. We were not just some of the bands who only practice but don't go out and play. We can actually have some shows and people come and they say they were Sabaton fans, and we can even see people who had a Sabaton t-shirt and asking for it. And then we started to take it, always push it higher and higher. And at some point we are thinking that we might be one day good enough for a record label. We should be there, so let's keep pushing it. And over the early years of Sabaton, we achieved quite a lot. It was growing quite fast until a moment where it kind of stopped. This is the moment when we had recorded our first album, but it was not released, and we were just sitting and waiting for it until we got tired of waiting for it, and we went instead and put down the money ourselves, and we recorded the album Prima Victoria, and from there on everything took off, and where we are today.
Why military history? Well, it's really simple. Looking back at it, there's probably 1,000 ways to explain it, but there are way too many fantastic stories that are being forgotten in our past. So why the fuck should we make up new ones? But it all started with, I think it was me and Per sitting together. I'd written the music, but we were looking for the lyrics for Prima Victoria, and it had a huge sound to it. And we thought, we can't sing about, drinking beer and stuff like that on that song. So we decided, let's do it about D-Day. And obviously, there was some research done. We knew, of course, that it already was, 6th of June, 1944. But all of a sudden, when writing the lyrics, it wasn't a necessary evil anymore. I mean, back in the day, when the earlier stuff we done, in most cases, if I'm honest, writing lyrics was a necessary evil, something you had to do so you could bring that song to the stage. But now, as we switched to military history, all of a sudden it became interesting for us. And the few fans we had back then really enjoyed it, and so did we. So after we'd done the Prima Victoria album and turned the ship around, which is the reason we changed, for example, the song Night Child became Purple Heart, because we wanted the whole album to be about military history. And then when we were doing A Terra Dominatus, we thought, hey, I think there's more to tell here. Should we do another one? And sort of at that point, without us deciding it, we just thought we'd do an album about military history and then another one. And then it became our thing, sort of. So we stuck to it. And honestly, I'm really happy about it. Some people are asking if we feel limited or, constrained by the fact, but no. I mean, seriously, even if we made one album every fucking month for the rest of our lives, there'd still be so much material we couldn't even begin to cover. So, I mean, finding a documentary about a conflict or a battle you never heard about, and finding these amazing stories, it's one of the greatest feelings I know. And sometimes being able to tell them, obviously we are not archaeologists, we are, historians. We're not going to be the first ones to find out about these things, but it's such a great feeling to be able to find a story that's very rarely told, and being able to turn that into music and make people go, what the fuck, that happened? And something like A Ghost in the Trenches of the Great War, for example.
Of course, there were ideas what Sabaton can talk about, and some of these ideas that we came up to us, like, should we do fantasy? No, we didn't want to do fantasy. Could we do science fiction? Potentially, it's quite interesting. Could we do religious things? Maybe, but a lot of other people do it better than us. Could we do Viking themes and stuff? Then we were starting to look into historical things as well, but more like quite modern warfare felt closest to our hearts. There's been thoughts about all kind of stuff, suggestions by people coming in, and alternative history or possibly future, but not going as far as science fiction. So, but we feel comfortable with doing what we do for a while longer.
It's important to do your push-ups while you're on tour.
Oh, hi. We didn't know you were coming in. We were just finishing up our 1,000 push-ups.
Daily, right? Daily.
Yeah, daily. We hit 1,008 this time. I don't know if you got it on camera, but we did a lot.
Yeah.
Kom igen! Missade!
Do the seal.
Where you work out for one day and then you rest for 3 days. No, not really.
You work out for one day and then you don't do anything for the rest of your life. That's what it means.
It's intense intervals.
Yeah.
One proper fucking workout a month, you're done.
Yeah, for life.
For the month. So all you people watching this, sitting on your couch, eating your
Complaining about
Nutella, chips,
no, exactly, your fucking chocolate and chips,
and drinking water.
that's not the way.
No.
I can tell you
especially
that.
people that complains about, oh, they're not doing it right. Well, get off your ass and do it.
Get off your ass and watch this vlog. How you work out using Tabata. 20 seconds. 1, 2, 3. Hi!
Chips, Nutella,
All right.
Now it's time for pizza and hamburgers. And candy.
No, but to be honest, it's actually Taco Friday today, so.
One. Deeper. Two.
Stop it.
Fucking hell.
Come on, man.
Give me the fucking camera, man. Give me the fucking. Yes, your fucking turn. Fuck, you just gotta fuck him up now. Come on, drop down. Give me 20, man. Come on. Come on, drop down. Give me 20, man. Come on.
Oh, we had a few run-ins with the law, and no, we haven't. Not the law. That sounds wrong. No, but with people thinking we are too controversial. Our first album was on the famous list in Germany because we, of course, had the word Nazi in the intro, and we had to send in our lyrics for the Primo Vittoria album, actually, to get it cleared. And then our record label strictly told us, whatever the fuck you do, guys, don't put the word Nazi in the intro. So we did it as he said and put it in the first verse instead. So we had to send in the lyrics again for Atero Dominatus. No, there's always things like that. We've had so many really cool shows lined up, and it might be in regards to museums, battlefields, and I think it's probably quite a few that really cool shows that could have been amazing that didn't happen just because a politician or somebody got involved and thought, oh no, these guys are singing about Rommel, they must be Nazis or whatever stupid bullshit there might be. So we are controversial, I mean, in that sense, but we sing about history, so none of what we say are our opinions. These are things that happened. So if you have a problem with that, you have a problem with history and not us. So yeah, I guess something we'll keep on running into. We were supposed to play at the 70th anniversary of the Battle of Stalingrad, and which would have been awesome for us. I mean, we have a song about Stalingrad. We were looking forward to going there. And then last minute, we were taken off the bill because a local politician saw, it's a case of this, the example I used before, where they saw that we had a song about Ghost Division and Rommel. So, we were forbidden to enter Russia to do that show, which is a shame. I would have loved to play that song. But yeah, since we cover military history, we cover these sort of controversial topics from every angle, up and down. I mean, sometimes we go into the mind of what might be the bad guy, if you will. And however, stories are interesting, and nobody would ask Steven Spielberg if he was a Nazi just because he made the movie Schindler's List. Nobody would ask Liam Neeson, who played Schindler in that movie, if he's a Nazi. And this is the same thing. We love to tell stories, and I just fucking wish people would understand that. It would make everything so much nicer.
There are many. I mean, we have been around for 20 years now. We have seen so many difficulties. We have struggled with the music industry. We have seen it declining. We have seen it being smaller and smaller and smaller. Even we never had the big sales and the big things. So for us, it's always growing up, album by album. But still, we see more and more of the traditional music scene disappear as we grow. So it has always been a challenge for us to stay up to date and being on the forefront of the music industry. We've been doing that by not staying to old, typical ways of doing some things. We don't have a traditional management. We have been doing that ourselves. We have always been looking at the future with quite clear and open vision, not being stuck in the past, but being open to what the future has to offer. Without a management who tells us what to do, comes challenges. Problems that we must find solutions for. There was never anybody there who told us this is how you do it, this is how you solve it. We always had to improvise, find our own solutions, do the research, and figure out a way to move on. This is why Sabaton has a lot of solutions to things that a lot of other bands have never heard of, never thought of, because many people just walk in the same traces as the music industry has been going through for so many years. This is a bonus that we got by choosing the path that we did without going with a traditional management. To grow and grow and grow also poses some kind of difficulties. I mean, Sabaton today is massively bigger than it was just on the previous tour and on the previous tour than that. So we constantly grow, and there's always things, new situations that pop up with it. It's great. I love challenges, I love problems, because that keeps my brain focused on solutions and on the future, not looking backwards to feel comfortable about, well, okay, we are just moving smooth and everything is fine. I must be challenged in order to be on the edge. I want to be on the edge because then I can be more focused and more clear and more smarter, I think.
What do you enjoy the most? That is an easy one. I enjoy writing music, recording music, performing music. Those are the top three for me. Music videos, photo sessions and stuff are probably at the bottom end of things.
Oh, that's a hard question, because I enjoy doing many things. I enjoy watching movies. I enjoy playing video games. I enjoy working out, running. I enjoy spending time with my girlfriend, with my friends, with my family.
I enjoy being able to do this for a living and being healthy. I love playing drums, that's why I'm here in the first place. And to make music in the studio or live with people that you really enjoy being around and have a good time, that's the most important for me. So I enjoy it all, actually. I love playing live, I love the studio, I love traveling the world, see a lot of cool places, meet a lot of cool people, make a lot of friends, so living the dream.
Free beer.
I just enjoy spending time with my nieces and my nephew, and I also enjoy writing music and composing, mixing, singing, playing music. I mean, that's why I do this, because I enjoy it.
See the world, I think. Play different venues, good vibe in the band, and it's some cool guys to hang out with. So yeah, that's the best.
I enjoy all part of this, including the not limited, but also the planning of everything, the execution, the boring things like paperwork and insurances and economy and whatever, it's part of that. I enjoy that too, the logistic plannings, I like that. And I also, funny enough, like the travels. This is what most bands say, that oh, we like to play but we hate the travels, and we hate the waiting at the airport, sitting and doing nothing. For me it's a little bit weird to be in 2020 and say that you have time to do nothing. There's a lot of people everywhere in the world who complain they don't have any time at all to do anything. And then there are musicians who tour around the world and say that they complain because they have time to do absolutely nothing. These days, I think we have so much to occupy our brains with. Or if not, we can always do what brought us here in the first place. Listen to good heavy metal.